This is a video for everybody who backed the Quintessential Guide to Monster Encounters or pre-ordered the Quintessential Guide to Monster Encounters or is still on the fence about pre-ordering the Quintessential Guide to Monster Encounters. This is kind of your March 2023 update, what we're kind of working on in the book and what you can expect from us pretty soon. In October this year, 2023, me and two other YouTubers by the likes of Wally DM and Dungeon Dad decided to team up and create a crowdfunding campaign for the Quintessential Guide to Monster Encounters, which ended up raising 42,000 euros-ish, something like that. And we've been working hard on this book, the encounters that are going to be in it, what the layout of the book and everything is going to be, and we already released one encounter, a whale encounter from JVC Perry, one of the guest writers, to the backers and the pre-order people. And we are planning to do that, to continuously do that. So we want to release a few of the encounters, some that we just really feel that needs maybe some play testing or that we want to get your opinion on. We want to put them in a PDF and release them every now and then. And I can already say that in March a new encounter is coming. So the first one with the flying whale trying to destroy a keep and you were shooting it with all kinds of weapons and spells and you had to bring it down in order to damage it. There's going to be a second encounter. The first one was by JVC Perry, and the second one is going to be by Justin Hanlon from Crit Academy, another guest writer for the Quintessential Guide to Monster Encounters, which is this entirely different thing. We have been, I've been working with Danny Pavlov, a great artist who is doing like sketch versions of all of the art that's going to end up in the book eventually, just to give you like an idea. So we have some art to place in the PDF so you can get an idea of the encounter. And the encounter you can expect this month in March, hopefully, is going to be cavern diving is the title of the encounter, which basically is a cavern filled with illusionary water. It looks like there is water, but once you step in it to like try to swim or whatever, you see that you just fall through the water, right? And below the water is actually the lair of a basilisk and its younglings or something like that. I don't want to spoil the entire encounter, but that is basically what we're launching towards you. There's also a few other encounters that I quickly want to talk about that we're also working on from myself, from Wally DM, and of course from Dungeon Dad. So let's look at those really quickly as well. Another thing I want to quickly say is that I have a Discord channel with a separate channel for the Quintessential Guide to Monster Encounters where you can drop questions, where you can drop suggestions, where you can say we're a bunch of shitty writers that cannot write a book or whatever, and ask when we are planning to release it. By the way, we really want to get this PDF of the book at least done by the summer of this year. So there are a few encounters that I want to talk about really quickly. This one you normally should have already seen through an update here and there, and it is the Orcs on a Hydra encounter. This is by me, and this encounter is almost entirely finished. It is almost ready to go to editing to get it like really finished to put in the PDF, and it needs some play testing. I play tested it with two parties. They loved it. They almost got devoured, but they all defeated the Orcs on the Hydra. The reason that I wanted to share this is because it's just so awesome. I know it comes from me saying this, and I did build the encounter, but it's really a cool encounter to run. And also, I'm really original with my titles. Like, this is called Orcs on a Hydra. Other people are like thinking about clever titles like cavern diving and stuff like that for the illusionary water, which is really cool, but I'm more like the what you see is what you get kind of title, Orcs on a Hydra. And it is the same with this one. It is the Flying Mermaids encounter. Yes, it is called Flying Mermaids, because that is what they are. These are merfolk, mermaids, mermen, whatever you want to call them, who can fly. Kind of like those fly fish, right? Those fish that jump out of the water, then fly for a little bit, like a chicken almost, and then jump back into the water. So they can't really fly, but they can just jump really far. And what these mermaids do is they literally come from one end of a ship. They jump over like the ship between the sails, between the masts and everything, over the people. They grab a few people in their flight and then whoosh, toss them into the sea in order to drag them down and kill them and devour them. As you can see, one of them even has a net going on right to the right. They have a net to catch people. The other one has one guy, I don't know, around its face or whatever, and one around the collar, and there's another guy on deck trying to shoot one of the mermaids, and it is a really shitty situation to be in, and that is what I like about this book, because first of all, Danny Pavlov, the artist, is really good at drawing. By the way, this is concept art, sketch art. All of this is going to be finished off into the art you're used to from like our example PDF you were able to download from the Kickstarter page. So everything is going to be finished, but this is like the concept stuff to just make people see what we're trying to convey with the thing. And Danny Pavlov is really good at painting these, drawing these shit hit the fan situations. That's what I call them, shit hit the fan situations. It's the same with the cavern diving encounter you're going to get in March, where a guy just falls into the illusionary water and the other one is trying to pull them out. There, it's the same with the orcs on a hydra, where, well, there's freaking orcs on a hydra and there's a person stuck in between the jaws of the hydra. So that's a shitty situation. That's a shit hit the fan situation. And this is also a shit hit the fan situation. And I like shit hit the fan situations. Then there's two more I want to talk about. And one that I find really cool is this one, the Quality Crematorium, if that is the right way to pronounce it. It is by Wally DM, and I really love the idea. So there is this rogue type person, player character probably, who accidentally smashes an urn which is filled with ashes of a dead person. As you can see on the wall behind the undead that you can see there, it is the same person as the undead. And the crematorium is basically a creature that spawns, an undead ghost-like creature that spawns from the ashes of an urn that is knocked down. Yes, that's such a crazy idea. You absolutely need to love it, right? So this creature is an undead ghost type creature, but it is also built from, it's kind of like an ash elemental in my head, right? So the ashes rise like an air elemental or a water elemental and form this version of the person who died many years ago. And I really like how Danny Pavlov was able to draw the person in the picture behind the undead person being the same person, but also being entirely different, because one is undead and the other one was painted as a living, probably friendly person. So I like, again, that this is one of those situations. This rogue was probably sneaking around and maybe trying to find some stuff in this cupboard that we're looking in, and they accidentally knocked down the urn and that stuff happened, and now they have an undead ghost type creature built of ashes in front of them. Absolutely love it. It is by Wally DM, and he is just really good at this kind of weird stuff. Then there's another one coming that I also really like. I like all of them, by the way. That's okay, right? I'm trying to... Okay, so I'm going to just make myself a little bit smaller here. So this is a jousting competition overseen by tree ants. The person on the top, the big person, is basically... It is a juvenile tree ant. And what they're doing, what their hobby is just like juvenile people do, is they use little insects and they organize jousting competitions for those insects, and those insects take it like very seriously. It's a matter of life and death. But the juvenile tree ants they just see it as a game, like they're playing Warhammer 40k or whatever on their table, and they're just like playing a game, having some fun, laughing their ass off because all of these insects are trying to do their best. But what happens is the player characters actually get shrinked down to the size of insects, and now they find themselves in the situation where they need to survive the jousting competition in order to like survive and make it through the encounter. So the player characters might end up in like a magical forest or something like that, and they shrink down to the size of insects, and suddenly they're in this insect world overseen by tree ants, juvenile tree ants, and these insects take everything very seriously, and there's like 2 armies of insects battling it out against each other, and the player characters are in between this, but they also know that it's a really small thing they're in, but they need to do this thing in order to get back into the real world, which is a crazy idea. By the way, it is an idea by AJ Pickett, one of the guest writers, but it is going to be written fully by JVC Perry, so it is definitely going to be one of those. For me personally, this one is one of those that might not fit every campaign. It is more situational than the other encounters. Like, you can encounter an Orcan Hydra, you can encounter flying mermaids, you can encounter even the crematorium, you can encounter all of that stuff in like most D&D campaigns, but this, you really need that kind of high magical forest type of thing going on. It is pretty situational, but if you find a use for it, I think it is going to be. I've been reading through what JVC Perry has done with the idea of AJ Pickett, and those ingredients combined came. Yeah, it is insane, and you just need to wait a little bit longer in order to get your hands on this one. And that is what I can talk about right now with this update. Of course, there will be more updates to come, and we will be releasing some of the encounters to you. If you are a backer or a pre-orderer, we will be releasing some of the encounters to you to kind of like play test, get a feel of what the book is going to be. We will continue working on all of the encounters. We already have other encounters like partly written, and we're like tossing ideas around so that we don't get 2 encounters that are like generally the same or stuff. We want every encounter to be really unique and all of that stuff. We've been working on this really hard, and probably in a few weeks there will be a questionnaire, a poll or whatever, so you as a community can choose which encounter we will release early for you. So if we have 3 encounters ready, let's say, you can choose one, and then the one that gets the most votes will probably be the one that will be released. Until next update, until next video, bye bye.